Well, howdy, y'all, and welcome to Miami. How was that? Well, it's not Miami, it's the Lap Down Podcast, but it's the Miami edition of the Lap Down Podcast. I went All American for you.
I feel like you've gone early because I feel Howdy might have been really good for Kota.
Oh, no, you'll get another one. I've got time to work on it now.
Well, is there not like a more Miami way to introduce the pod?
I don't really. I feel like Miami doesn't have a sound. I don't know.
No. Every time I think of Miami, I think of the Will Smith song. You know, "Welcome to Miami."
Yeah, I'm not going to sing.
No,
I'm not going to do a rap.
But I was offering you the opportunity to do so.
And I have passed on that opportunity, sir. Please and thank you. Dan, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome back. We've got a race this weekend. It's a sprint weekend. There's a lot to talk about.
I'm pretty good. I'm excited. We are back on the other side of the planet. And Miami is Miami, isn't it? It's a street circuit. No, it's not a street circuit. Sorry, it's a car park circuit with, probably one of the most pointless chicanes in world racing. But we are racing.
We are racing multiple times.
Back-to-back sprints.
What? Yeah, which is interesting, isn't it? In terms of the way they could have scheduled 24 races and picked 6 of them. They thought, well, let's go back-to-back.
Well, I think like Miami's a banker, you know, like Miami's kind of like, oh, this is what we want to succeed. So let's stick a sprint in there. Let's bring all the celebs in and let's go large. China was more rogue, I felt. I did also have a scroll through the old Formula One thingamajiggy, and I am one of the most ignorant people when it comes to celebrities. I am honkingly bad. And they put their kind of weekly thing out of going, oh, the stars are out in Shanghai. I recognised one, which was Yao Ming, the basketball player, and I only recognised him because he's about 19 foot tall. Everybody else, I had to open the thing up and go, oh, so that's what that person looks like, or more often than not, no, I still have no idea who you are.
Yeah, and I think I probably would have backed you up on that. I think it's the same with a lot of the time with the F1 grid, isn't it? And I know this is getting into probably a future chat about like Martin's grid walk and the state of the pre-race F1 grid attendance. There's a lot of them that I see on the broadcast, which I'm like, oh, thank you, director, for putting up that little like lower third that says who this person is. It's like, because I had no idea. When they showed that Machine Gun Kelly, which was the most, it was a disgusting bit of television. And he got well and truly brundled, which was superb. But I needed the lower third that day. Otherwise, I was not getting anywhere near.
No.
But yeah, I think the sprint concept of where we're sprinting and why we're sprinting is an interesting one, because we've almost gone bang bang of the two reasons that you would pick a venue for a sprint. We've got China, that is a proper racetrack with plenty of overtaking places. Yeah. Logical that if you want good racing, not bad place to have a mini race. And then Miami, not many places to overtake, not great racing, but celebrities and the sun's out and there's a pool. So it's sort of ticking both boxes, I guess. And it's probably a question for the higher ups of, do we want the sprint to be about having a really exciting mini race, or do we want the sprint to be about being able to sell more hospitality? I know what the answer is. But yeah, we've got that duality of sprinting.
Yeah. Those of us sat at home in our boxer shorts, in a cereal milk soaked t-shirt early in the morning, I don't think we're that high on the list of priorities for Liberty Media and their kind of decisions as to where sprint races are going to be held. So I think as you said, I think we know the answer to that question. I don't necessarily think Miami would be that high on my list of places to watch another race. And neither do I think Vegas would be that high on my list of the places to watch another race. But give me Shanghai, give me Silverstone, give me a bit of Imola, give me Monza, give me
Red
Sao
Bull Ring.
Paulo.
I'm going to throw Red Bull Ring at you.
Give me Red Bull Ring. Give me those tracks. Give me Spa. Give me those circuits. Let me watch the cars race twice on there, and I will love you forever, Liberty Media, or at least until you sell it to the next people that want to try and take it forward.
Problem is, you do a sprint race around Spa.
Sorry. Speaking of taking racing forward, and I don't really want to dwell on this too much, but did you see how shit that Abu Dhabi or autonomous or Ordradromina AI virtual racing remote control league crash bangers thing was?
No.
Okay.
There was a long build up there for something I haven't seen. No, I saw one clip of someone driving itself into a wall. And that was all I saw.
As I said, I didn't want to dwell on it. Carry on.
Didn't know it was happening either. Saw one clip of the car coming up to that right-hander before you go under the hotel bit, and it took the turn about 50 yards too early and just threw itself in the wall. And all the engineers went, oh, well, wasn't supposed to happen. No, it wasn't. It's Miami. Unsurprisingly, for Miami, we've got a load of special stuff. We kind of predicted this, and we're still a little bit early. I don't think we've had all of our helmet reveals. But before we go helmets, we've got cars that have changed. And we might have more cars that change. As it stands, we've got 2 cars that have changed. Would you like to start with the good one or the shit one, Dan?
Let's start with the shit one.
So Ferrari, you bigged that up a lot for a car that hasn't really changed, is what I'm going to say. And it's something that we see a lot, and they've alpined themselves. You've gone really hard on it's going to be blue. It's going to be blue. Guess what? I tell you what, you're not ready for how blue this car's going to be. This car's going to be so blue. The car is red. The car has a little bit of blue on it.
Do you know they haven't gone quite as hard with their livery chat as what Alpine did at the start of the year, have they? They haven't quite kind of gaslighted everybody to that extent. However, I think most of us were thinking, and I know you've not actually watched the film, so I don't really know. This is another reference that's going to be completely lost on you. But I was thinking Dynaco blue cars. You're looking at me as if you have no idea what I'm talking about. In short, I was expecting the car to be blue.
Yeah, I think we all were. We all were. And I think
why not though? Why can't somebody just be brave with one of these things now? Balls to the wall and just go, excuse my language, but fuck it. Let's do something completely out there. Ferrari had a free pass here, didn't they? They kind of bigged this up. They could have had a nice little blue kind of Ferrari for one race. Put a little red stripe on it, and everyone would have gone, wowee, jeez, look at that stuff. Look at the merch that you've come out with this stuff as well. I want this stuff because that stuff looks cool. You can't just sell like blue T-shirts and tell everybody that you're giving it a throwback to the olden days and then just turn around and go, well, it's still red. It's just got a blue stripe on it now. Do you see the yellow? We've changed it. We've changed it to blue.
Which, the thing is as well, it's not like Ferrari have run a really carbon-heavy car, so they didn't have much colour to play with. Ferrari have gone, to their credit, quite a painted car this year in red and could have just gone 1-for-1 into blue. And I don't think anyone would have kicked off at all. No one would be like, but Ferraris are meant to be red. I think it would have been absolutely fine. I think it was a slam dunk opportunity because it's Miami. And I think that sky blue that their race suits are and stuff is a very Miami blue. So that's an easy win. They've just signed HP as renaming the team Ferrari HP. Easy win again that you probably could have forgiven them.
Computers.
All of the above. Brown car would be fun. The fruity green and brown car. But they had so many free hits of why they could have gone all out for this one race. Weird to keep it so painted. And it also doesn't look that great. It's not like McLaren did their livery with a minor change. Front wing, a little bit of side pod, a little bit of rear flippity-bippity stuff. Not a huge amount changed, but the bits they did change looked really quite nice with the rest of the car. Ferrari have just kind of put some blue on it for the sake of it.
Yeah, I have no ability to argue with that anymore. I do think, and I know I probably am slightly nerdier when it comes to the older stuff. And there's kind of a thing local to me called Goodwood, and they post a lot of really good stuff on their Instagram thing. And I kind of recommend people follow it if they like Formula One stuff or racing stuff in general.
After they follow at Lapdown Pod.
Well, it's unlikely going to happen. I mean, they are rocking around with like 540,000 Instagram followers, so probably not that high on their list of things to do. However, what you could argue here is they've gone on to, it may not be as blue as we'd hoped. That's how they've opened it with, and I think probably everybody thinks exactly the same. However, the Ferrari SF24 livery has some lovely nods to its past. It celebrates the 60th anniversary of John Surtees clinching the World Championship title in North America in the Ferrari 158. So I think that, again, is probably another message there that hasn't really actually been kind of provided to people. Mm-hmm. Although how much interest people would have now watching Formula One in a chap called John Surtees, who I have to say throwback was one of the best Formula One drivers of all time. Like one of the the only person in the world ever to have won a world title in 4 wheels and 2 wheels. And I mean, that takes some doing. Then obviously you're going back to a Ferrari 158, which looks completely different. However, it's a red car and it's got blue wheels on it. Like that's the Ferrari. And if anything, going back 60 years ago, we got more blue now.
Yeah, fine. I mean, the race suits look really nice. And as you mentioned before, the merch looks really nice. And I think, again, they almost did it in the wrong order. I mean, I always come back to it from a marketing and a media side. You've got your release plan the wrong way around, lads, because you've said the exciting bit first and then you've finished on the whimpery bit, not come out swinging on the really exciting bit. It's...
I think as well, on that throwback, now that I've kind of looked into it a little bit more, they have missed a really good opportunity here to kind of have a nod back to the past, because their racing drivers in that era would have worn those, I don't know the exact kind of color blue, but that sky blue race suit. So we have really got kind of an anniversary edition here of a Ferrari, which I think if it was billed as that, people would have gone, yeah, okay, we can get on board with this. Let's buy the blue merch because it's a throwback to the good old days. I remember like my dad or my granddad talking about John Surtees, and I can think about that, and Mike Hawthorne and people like that. And you kind of get on board with it, but I feel like I've been gaslighted slightly.
But I think the other problem is people aren't going to buy the merch because the merch is the best bit. So in that way, we've almost been screwed over because they're going to think it was really successful because everyone is going to buy the merch because that's the bit that they got right. And they maybe just forgot to merch up the car to go with it.
Yeah.
Who hasn't done that and who's done it the right way round? And you mentioned about lads going all out and just going, sod it, let's change the whole thing. Good Lord, RB. What has happened? I mean, I still don't know actually what it looks like because I find it very hard to look at the car. Not because it looks ugly, but I can't. It's a bit like when like Red Bull used to do those testing liveries, or when you see like the new Audi R8 being tested somewhere and they wrap it in like the weird camo so no one can see like the lines and angles and stuff.
Yeah.
There's something about this RB livery that just does funny tricks with my eyes that it doesn't look like the car anymore, and I can't work out where the side pod ends and the halo begins and the front wing ends and the nose begins. It's just sort of colours, but I love it.
They've done well. They've been on an LSD acid trip in some Miami nightclub somewhere. I've just finished watching Narcos. I know I'm a bit late, and I'm very aware that a few of those things end up in those Miami nightclubs. And it feels like that might have been where this idea might have been born. And I like it. Yeah. They've looked at it and they've gone, well, Miami, screw it, let's go for it. I did get a bit confused when people were talking about the RB livery, and I was thinking, Red Bull are doing something. Oh, no, sorry, it is Red Bull. It's just not the Red Bull that we're allowed to call Red Bull, even though everybody knows this is Red Bull as well. It kind of feels to me as like a pineapple and passion fruit summer edition Red Bull energy drink kind of launch logo thing, that or like a fruit salad sweet. Do you remember those? Yeah. That's kind of what I'm picking up. But it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. The launch was interesting. I don't know whether Miami is famed for its car washes. Whether Gloria Gaynor was a Miami resident at points, she might well have been. I don't know. But they had a car that was covered in stuff, and then they sprayed it with some water, and it was still covered in some stuff, and it looks good.
Yep. And it's exciting, and it's different, and it looks nothing like the car does normally. So I'm going to remember that. So, yeah, no, I am... well done, RB. Well, bearing in mind that you're the branding team on the grid that's only there for branding purposes, guess what? You've got your branding right. Well done. Also, 2 from 2 for RB.
Oh, yeah.
Main livery, banger. Custom livery, banger. So,
yeah.
I don't think we've got a bad word to say about them in an aesthetic way. Plenty of other bad things to say about them, but in an aesthetic way, no issue. Should we do some helmet watching?
I would love to talk to you about helmets.
We made some predictions last week, and I think we're going to be in a pretty good ballpark because I give you our tip, peek behind the curtain. It's Thursday afternoon when we're recording this. We've got 5 confirmed custom helmets or special helmets for Miami. We've got both of the Ferrari drivers have got blue helmets to match the red car. Danny Ricciardo has got a helmet that I couldn't tell you what it looks like because the launch photos they did for that, they basically had the lights turned off. So I don't actually know what color it is, but it's got a big old Red Bull logo on the side that makes me think that he's really making a last-ditch effort for that seat.
Please helmet. Notice me.
Please helmet, notice my helmet. Checo's got a kind of cartoon crocodile thing. He's gone a little bit... He's gone safe with an outlandish idea. Like, it's the kind of thing that if Lando Norris had done that, or if Alex Albon had used that idea of this cartoon alligator, the whole thing, it would have been like the panda helmet, but it would have been... Do you remember Schnappi das kleine Krokodil? Ich bin Schnappi, das kleine Krokodil. No, it was a meme video from, I want to say, the late 2000s of a German crocodile.
Okay.
Alex Albon would have gone all out with that, I think. And Checo was kind of gone, look, there's a crocodile on the marketing, but then there's actually just a little strip of green on the helmet itself.
They do have alligators in Florida.
Yes.
That's all I've got for you.
Marvellous. And I think that's all the thought process was.
He's the what is he? He's the dad, isn't he? He's a dad now. He's a dad. He looks at Lando, he looks at Albano, he looks at George, and he thinks, God, they're the cool kids. I remember when I was that age, and he's gone, I've got a good idea here. I'm going to have a special helmet, and I'm going to mug off what Albano did in Shanghai in a way.
Yes.
But I've just missed it, and I've gone for like the 40-year-old version of it.
He's put a fun belt on with his normal chinos. That's what he's done.
Or he's turned up to the office wearing his black suit, his white shirt, and his kind of navy blue tie, with his briefcase. And as he sat down and as the trousers just ridden up his thigh slightly, you've just noticed that he's got orange socks on.
Yeah, bold sock or a cufflink.
Yeah.
Just a slightly coloured enamel cufflink. That's what Checo's done. My helmet of the week so far is Oscar Piastri's.
Good shout.
Think he has engaged. He has RB'd his helmet. It's nothing like his normal helmet. It's a completely different colour. It's very bright. It's very Miami. It looks great. Well done, Oscar.
Yeah, he's one of the cool kids, isn't he?
He's one of the cool kids.
Cool kids. Doesn't miss it. You know, turns up, he goes, I know what kids like, and I know what AB likes, because you're a child, and I'll give you exactly that. And he smashed it out the park. Vice City vibes. Yeah. And ultimately, I mean, that is an open goal for Miami stuff, because that's one of the most iconic things ever to have been kind of titled or set around the city of Miami.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, we'll put Miami to one side for a second. We'll come back to it for a little bit of prediction chat at the end. But there's been some movements during the week.
Yes, there has.
So we need to look off track because silly season continues to silly season. It's now sillying in new silly ways that we hadn't even anticipated because we now have... we kind of had team principal silly season with going through at the start of the year, and now we've got head
and nearly Christian as well.
And nearly Christian, maybe still Christian. And we've now got head of car design and aero and all the rest of it, whatever Adrian did at Red Bull, because he can't be bothered anymore. So he's off.
Do you know, he is definitely the type of bloke that when winning becomes too easy, I think he gets bored.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like this is exactly what he's done now. And I think a lot of people can probably kind of can relate to that kind of mindset. Is you take something as far as what you possibly can, ultimately to the ultimate success with Adrian Newey, and as he has done throughout his entire career. And once you've got it there, where's your challenge gone? What is left for you to kind of get up in the morning? And I'm not saying that we're talking about a depressed Adrian Newey here, because I don't think we are. However, he's done it. He's done it again. Which isn't meant to sound as memey as what it was, but he's got nothing left to do with Red Bull anymore. I know there's going to be regulation changes, but there's going to be regulation changes for whatever team he's going to go off and work for. He wants something new to do.
Yeah.
And if I was a betting man, I'd stick a fiver on him going to Ferrari.
Yep. No, I think I agree. I think the options... There was a wonderful quote, and how real it is or not, I don't know, but there was a wonderful quote that said... as much as Mercedes want Adrian Newey, he's not considering that an option because he doesn't feel that car can be saved. Which, if Adrian Newey is telling you your car is so bad, even Adrian Newey can't make it good, pack up and go home, lads. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
I think, and I mean this really respectfully, Adrian's also quite old. I don't know how old he is, but the bloke deserves to put his feet up and have a custard cream at like 7:30 in the morning, because he just fancied it, and then go potter about in the garden on your like V8 lawnmower that mows the whole garden in like 8 minutes. Because, as you say, he's done it all. He must be coming up to sort of retirement age, either that or the F1 travels have been hard on Adrian.
So he's 65 years old.
Put your feet up, Adrian.
Yeah.
Put your feet up, my son. Get a nice consulting role done.
His lawnmower is a turbocharged V12.
Yeah,
obviously back before Formula One started worrying about koalas.
The neighbours hate it. It's very loud when he
that.
mows it on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But I think he will do something with Ferrari. I know very little about the whole. I haven't really followed a huge amount of the rumours purely because they're rumours, right? And everyone's going to tell you he's going to Aston, then he's going to Mercedes, and he's going to wherever. But I know that he said that it would be a regret of his if he never worked with Ferrari in his career.
Yeah.
Ferrari will give him whatever role he wants. Ferrari would let him drive the car if he wanted. I think even if he only goes there as a consultant and it's not a full-time gig and he just basically zooms into Maranello once a month to go, that front wing shit, and then goes home again, I can see them sending him a couple of Ferrari shirts to do that. Yeah. And I think it's exciting as an independent that we're breaking up the boys club at Red Bull.
I think he'll be all in with Ferrari, mate. I think he'll be there every day. I think he will be so invested in that project. I think it's very similar, and it echoes that thought and that comment that Hamilton made about what Sebastian Vettel made about the fact that everybody is a Ferrari fan. It's just true. And Lewis Hamilton, you'd think, well, what challenge has he got left in his career? And he's gone off the Ferrari because that's what he wants to do in his career. And Adrian Newey, I think, is going to be a pretty similar kind of story here. Maybe also Adrian Newey knew that Lewis Hamilton got cheated in Abu Dhabi, and therefore he's going to go to Ferrari with Lewis to cement that 8th Drivers' World title.
Interesting.
Maybe, just saying.
Yeah, probably not, but maybe.
Could be.
You never know. You never know. But well done, Adrian, as well. Go get that bag, King, is the other thing I'll say. I dare say he's already on a bag at the minute. I don't think there's much more bag that a man can take, but go get that bag, King. I think
he's doing all right for himself.
Anybody
that drives a V12 lawnmower has got a bit of cash.
Yeah, do what you want. And then the other one is Hulk is moving. We've had that confirmed relatively early. That's been locked in. I mean, it was the sort of worst kept secret, I suppose, in Formula One that everyone was like, he's German. Audi coming in. Yeah. Guess what? He's going there. But we've now had that confirmed, which has sort of in the same breath probably confirmed that Ollie Behrman's going to be in white next year and racing for Haas, which I think is good. I've become a big Behrman fan. I think he showed himself wonderfully in Saudi Arabia. He just seems like a good guy, and he's just a lad from Essex that sounds like no one's ever been to Essex. It leaves an interesting situation, though, of the second Audi seat, and in the short term, the second Kiki Bippy seat. You've got two drivers currently in the team that everyone's just kind of not talking about, because sort of most of the chat is that Carlos has probably got himself a very nice deal to go to Audi. He needs to go there next year. I can't see Carlos having a year out. So you've got two decent drivers. Bottas probably good driver. Zhou up and coming, decent enough driver. Without seats that probably warrant seats. Can you see either of them picking up a seat somewhere else? And if so, where, sir?
I totally agree with you with the Carlos Sainz thing. That's kind of been a rumor that's been spoken about, and it's kind of hidden in plain sight, isn't it? Because Carlos Sainz Sr., I believe, is an ambassador for Audi Motorsport or Audi. And therefore, you kind of go, well, this just makes sense, doesn't it?
And that was almost pre the Lewis Hamilton thing as well, wasn't it? That the thought was he'd go there.
There's a really nice and obvious pathway for Carlos Jr. to follow. And ultimately, you kind of know that Audi are going to do this properly with their kind of pedigree in other sports, with the success that they've had in World Rally, with obviously Le Mans as well, and saloon car racing. You kind of go, they're not going to half-ass this. They're going to do this properly. And therefore, if they can bring in Carlos, fantastic. They've got a world champion-elect in their seat from day one. Hulkenberg's a weird one because I kind of look at it and go, it's odd now that Formula One are really sticking with the old boys and not kind of looking at the youngsters in F2 and F3 about what they might do to kind of take it forward. Hulkenberg's a known quantity. He's safe. You know, he's not. I think you've made the point. He's not going to throw it in the wall every other race. And one of those younger lads might do. However, you know that Hulkenberg's not going to win you a world driver's title, and ultimately probably isn't going to provide you with enough amount of points to challenge for a constructor's title either. Your final point with regards to Zhou and Bottas. Bottas, funnily enough, mate, never met him. However, it kind of strikes me as the type of bloke that's just a bit happy with himself, you know? And if he gets to the end of this season, he just goes, nah, I can't be asked anymore. Like, he's finished. There's a Raikkonen kind of vibe going on here. It's just like, nah, don't want to do it. Rosberg, he's marginally Finnish as well through his dad, and he got to a stage, didn't he? He just went, I can't be asked anymore. Kind of feels like there's a bit of a vibe there that you go through that stage. Plus, he's 34, and I know that's no age compared to Alonso and Hamilton. However, he's had his chance to win things and hasn't been able to do it. Zhou is slightly more confusing. I don't know how much backing Zhou brought into Sauber, AlphaTauri type thing to actually get him that seat in the first place. And maybe Audi aren't interested in that level of backing. Mm-hmm. Maybe they are going to back it a bit more financially themselves from the core company, and then therefore turn around and go, well, Sainz and Hulkenberg are better drivers than Zhou, so see you later, mate. Doesn't matter. We don't need you a few million yen because we're just going to crack on anyway.
Yeah, I think I agree that I can see a situation where Bottas just goes, you know what? Nah, I'm going to go spend some time in Australia with Tiffany and put my feet up for a bit. And
yeah, I like cycling.
He's at the stage now of being able to do what he wants as well. He has won enough races and had enough success in F1 and whatever that he can leave being a very, good, well-known driver, and now he can go do whatever. I can see a situation where Zhou ends up at Williams because he can take Logan's seat and bring the cash that Logan brings, but puts it in the wall considerably less often than Logan does and has more pace for the most part. I don't think he would start matching Albon, but I think you would see Williams, a sort of a Williams, one other car and a Williams, as opposed to a Williams, 6 other cars and a Williams.
Yeah,
more often. I also think that Williams are quite happy to jump on a trend of they'll see what the reception was to Zhou at Shanghai and go, yes, please. We have to share our home race at the minute with Mercedes at Silverstone because they're based there in Lewis, or not Lewis Hamilton anymore, but they have to share their home race with Aston, and there's a lot of teams based around Silverstone. Why don't we adopt China? Because Zhou's got money, he can drive a car, and there's, guess what? A lot of people with a lot of money in China that we could flog some merch to. So, and look, I know that, again, you could look at who's coming through F2 and whatnot. If we're to believe that Antonelli is probably in line for that Williams seat, that's all gone quite quiet. The Mercedes seat's gone quite quiet on that front.
Well, other than the fact that he's been testing previous kind of editions of that Mercedes quite heavily, actually.
Couple recently at Imola, and the time. I know the times are all bollocks anyway, but apparently the times were good. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo's times were good in the Red Bull, and he can't drive the fucking RB.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
But I think the fact that that's gone so quiet, when things are quiet, things are either done or not surprising. I think so. I think Toto's panicking too much about missing Verstappen again. I think he puts Antonelli in that car maybe too early, but it's 25. The car's shit. We don't worry about it, and we move on. And then, I can see Zhou ending up at Williams and Logan ending up back at home or maybe in FE.
I mean, he'll get a drive. IndyCar, NASCAR, FE. There's a few kind of series there for Logan to kind of fall back into's unkind, isn't it? But there is a
he's falling
pathway.
Into it. He's falling backwards into it.
Yeah, okay. From Formula One to Indy to Formula One to Formula E, there is a clear pathway there for a driver to follow. And ultimately, I mean, he just hasn't done it, has he?
No.
And if
seems a lovely bloke, but hasn't done it.
No. And if Williams decide to move on,
no one's going to be shocked, are they?
No,
I don't think. I think people were a little bit shocked he got another year this year, and I think, I think they'll crack on. Right then, Miami tomorrow. Funny timings again. It would be nice when we can get back into a rhythm with the European League. He says selfishly as a man in Europe, but we're into Miami. Any wild thoughts about Miami? As I know you've mentioned that you don't love the chicane at the end, and I'm going to assume you don't love the track as a whole as a result.
Yeah.
Lovely. Tick it off, move on.
It's a street circuit. They're not good. they're just not good, are they? They're not enjoyable. They're not fun. They have to fabricate it by putting that ridiculously long straight down the back of it so that they can kind of formulate some form of overtaking. Otherwise, it would just be follow the leader throughout the whole of it because there isn't wide enough to put two cars side by side. Some of the best drivers in the world have a bit of a habit of driving into a wall at some of these places as well, which seems to slow things down again. The fake water's just shit. The boats are pointless. What else is there going on? Yeah, it's in a car park, for Christ's sake. Like, it's not even in Miami. I mean, it is in Miami, but it's not in Miami. It's go through the stadium or something. If you're going to do it there, kind of like
Mexico,
give us something cool, for Christ's sake. Don't just drive around a bit where like some fat kind of Miami Dolphins fans sit around eating barbecue before a 4:00 kickoff in the NFL through the winter. Give us something decent, lads. But no, I'm not a fan. I don't like it.
No, that I got that impression very strongly. I enjoy the fact that the owner of the Miami Dolphins and the whole like complex and stuff, there was an article that he was, quote, entertaining an offer of $10 billion for the things that he owns. And I just like that there's someone sat back going, yeah, they've offered me $10 billion in cash, but do I want $10 billion in cash? Like, take the $10 billion in cash. Like,
how many zeros is in a billion?
Too many. Too many.
I don't even know.
Well, a mil is 7 figures, so that's 6 zeros, and a billy, we've then got to stick another 2 on. 8 zeros and a...
Maybe?
Yeah.
Is it 100 million a billion?
No, a million's a billion.
A million is a billion.
I think yeah, because you can have like 500 million. That's not a billion. That's half a billion. Yeah, it's 1,000 million. Maths.
Yeah.
1,000 million is a billion.
Christ.
It's too many monies. I'll tell you, that's the answer, is too many monies.
Goodness me.
My thing with Miami, where we talk about street circuits, it's not really a street circuit in what you said earlier. It's a car park circuit. And having been a car park circuit, you kind of could have put whatever track you wanted here, lads. So why did you make it a street circuit? Like, you could have still put good racing bits into the big open bits of the car park, and then we would have almost accepted the streety bits if you'd have put some tracky bits in the car parks. But they haven't. Look, it's fine. As you say, someone might throw it in the wall, which is funny. The little daft chicane at the end, someone might throw it into the wall there, and bearing in mind it's an uphill chicane, which is funny. But yeah, I think there'll be a big spoiler from the sprint race with this one. I think we'll see the sprint race racing, and then we'll go, okay, maybe Sunday night's not going to be a banger. But we'll see. Right then, blue flag me, Mr. Daniel. Who's messing it up in Miami?
I don't know. I think I did pick up a point last week in a roundabout way, didn't I? But I don't feel as though it was a particularly consensual point. I'm going for Albon.
Okay.
I'm going for Albon. And my justification of the blue flags here is the fact that I think this is a weekend where Logan outperforms Albon.
Hello.
And that, I think, even if it's by one place, I think
in any session, like in any live session, as in quali or sprint or?
We're talking about the proper ones. We're talking kind of quali race type job. I think that warrants a blue flag because, I mean, Logan's so far off the pace. Mm-hmm. However, he's been on Good Morning America. He's American. He's in America.
Yeah.
The stars are aligning, Logie Bear.
The 50 of them. The 50 stars are aligning.
Go out there, make me proud, and get me that blue flag.
Okay.
With some stars on it.
I'll pay it. I'm on the blue theme. I'm going for a team for the first time.
Oh, you're going for Ferrari.
I'm going for Ferrari.
Because I think because you said blue.
There you go. Famously blue team. I think there could be a curse of the team going all out special. It was Mercedes, wasn't it, that have done it before, where they turned up in their old-timey uniforms and everyone went, this is really fun, you're having a load of fun, and then they double DNF'd. I can just see a situation where Ferrari have kind of ballsed it up with delivery, and I think we're due a Ferrari cock-up of a strategy, of a split-second call. I think there's going to be something where they're going to have been running well, like Charles going to be a real strong P2, and then they're going to make the wrong call, and he's going to finish P5. And I just think we're due we are checking kind of moment. There's not been enough checking for me this year, and so I think Miami's the week.
Checking.
Yeah, checking. Grand. Hey, let's do plenty of racing this weekend and see what happens.
You and me, Miami, doing some laps, having a great time.
Let's make it happen.
And if there's anything to talk about afterwards, I guess we'll come back on a podcast and chat about it.
We'll do that. You can follow us at Lapdown Pod pretty much everywhere. You can follow us on YouTube. We've got shorts going up on there, TikTok, Insta, Twitter. We probably need to do a few more tweetings. I need to get back to my memeing. It's because I can watch live now. I'm not going to do memeing after the fact. And you can go find Dan where on the internet?
At DanJads_. I don't really talk too much about Formula One. I don't really use Twitter at all anymore. Kind of Elon's killed it. But other than that, yeah, I'm about.
He's about. You can go find him. You can follow me at Hey Look It's Alex on Twitch. You can come and watch me play video games on there. Or you can follow me at Alex Typed That. Again, I need to do more on there. But hey, we'll worry about that when we get to it. Thank you for chatting to me, Dan. We'll see you next week after Miami.
Fun as always, mate. Enjoy.